Another trait that makes Manning unique is that he's a total film junkie. It's rare for a player that young to watch a ton of film. Usually kids at that age care more about creating or watching highlight tapes than truly breaking it all down. But Manning couldn't get enough of the process and fell in love with it, so much so that it managed to shape the University of Texas coaching staff's perception of him on an unofficial visit. While in Austin during the summer before his junior year, Manning spent time with Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian and other coaches in front of a whiteboard. After Manning accidentally left his notes behind, someone found them and gave them to Sarkisian. Sarkisian then called Stewart, saying it took their breath away and that it was staggering how much information Manning was writing down. Sarkisian also told Stewart, "I just want you to know that I've been doing this for a long time and I've worked with a lot of quarterbacks. Even if I never get to coach this kid, the fact that I got to work with him today was phenomenal. Makes it all worth it." That's the kind of impression he had on us. Manning was well on his way to earning a reputation for himself on and off the field with the overall way he carried himself. He had every right to be full of himself, but instead continued to surprise and win people over with his down-to-earth demeanor. On top of that, he never stopped grinding to get better. As Manning's coach said, he enjoys the training, the extra work, and going in early. Sometimes I gotta remind him that it's a day off for a reason. He doesn't take it. He's expanded and got better probably than I ever could have imagined. As a junior, Manning passed for over 1,800 yards with 26 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions, while rushing for over 350 yards and 7 touchdowns. In addition to being named first-team All-State by the Louisiana Football Coaches Association, he had established himself as the consensus #1 overall recruit in the class of 2023. But the way the season ended had people wondering whether or not this was actually deserved. As a 2A school, Newman's regular season slate would be considered a cupcake schedule. The schools they faced stood no chance against a future Division I quarterback. The real competition didn't arrive until the postseason, and in the state semis, Newman was handed an absolute beatdown as Manning completely disappeared in a 49-7 loss. He completed just 6 of his 17 passes for 49 yards, while rushing for only 15 more. The performance raised concerns about whether Manning had simply been taking advantage of lesser competition while playing in one of the lowest divisions and relying on his last name. As Mike Farrell, the former national director of recruiting for Rivals, put it, "If his name was Arch Smith, I think he'd probably be a high 3-star quarterback."
He plays a very low level of competition. He hasn't progressed.
And when he has had to step up against other competition, especially in the playoff game where he looked awful, just hasn't translated. But people like Farrell voicing negative opinions about Manning didn't stop basically every program in the nation from trying to get him. And after a few years of this chase, with the clock winding down, some schools put on a full-court press. Places like Texas were so desperate that they spent unfathomable amounts of money to try and seal the deal.